Damn state.
Streaming live from
HitThatLine.com.
You can actually feel Razorback Stadium shaking underneath our feet right now.
This is Halftime with Phil Elson, Matty T, and Matt Smackdown Jenkins.
My calculations are correct. When this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're going to see some serious...
Arkansas wins. The Hogs are still dancing to the Elite Eight for the first time since 1995.
I have been waiting for this moment for a long time.
Judging by the sound of it, so has everyone else.
But hold on, it's almost halftime.
Live at the Gameday Lodge on a Monday. That's me, Phil Elson. Good to be with you today. Matty T and Smackdown back in the studios, making sure that the place does not burn down. That's the only way that it wouldn't burn down, keeping those guys there. And it is a beautiful day in Branson. I am finally, I've never been here before. I mean, I guess that's the oddest part of this.
You've never been to Branson?
I'd never been to Branson before, Smackdown. That's right.
Wow.
All these years living in Arkansas and even driving up 65 between Little Rock and Springfield for Travelers, Springfield Cardinals games for like 10 years. I would just keep going straight on 65. Never made the left, or one of the two lefts that you would make to get towards Table Rock Lake and all the stuff going on over here. But now I'm happy that I did for the first time, because this is quite a setting, not just in and around the area, which a lot of our listeners already know plenty about Branson and everything going on there, but inside this unique living quarters called the Gameday Lodge that you may have heard the guys in the Morning Rush talking about. This is a really cool place. We've been brought here in order to kind of brag a little bit about this place a lot. So what better way to brag on a place than to actually spend a couple of days here? And I told you over the last few weeks as we've been pumping this place up, which, by the way, you got to see the photos. And I'm putting photos up on Twitter when I can. I know Ty is, I know Tommy is, on all of our social media. Best way to get a look at it if you're not here in person is to just search Gameday Lodge on any one of the social media apps that you'll have, either Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. And Sarah and Jason Everett own this place, and the one next door, which is called the Green Gables Lodge. And they have not spared any minute detail, not one. What did I tell you? I'm going to sleep in all 19 beds, right?
Correct, right.
I've already got 2 of them down. I've already slept in 2.
Where'd you sleep last night?
Well, so I got here yesterday, since we didn't have a baseball game yesterday, and it was actually really like my first and only off day for maybe a 3-week stretch. No complaints. I'm just saying it was. I had a chance to get here earlier than Ty and Tommy. So I got to the Gameday Lodge first. I wanted to scope out the best bedroom.
Of course.
Right? So
yeah, absolutely.
And
you get first dibs on everything. You don't have to wait on that. Yeah, I would agree.
There are 10 bedrooms here. So, I needed to walk into every one of them, push on every bed, kind of do the Goldilocks and the Three Bears treatment for all of these things. And realize that the best bedroom, there are like 3 master bedrooms here. There is a big master suite on the top floor that's got a balcony overlooking the backyard where they've got the big fire pit and the basketball court and the hot tub and a really beautiful vista to see off to your left. That's the Razorback Refuge bedroom, and it's all Razorback stuff. It's got the biggest bed. It's got its own bathroom. It's got its own little porch. So I was going to scope that one out. That was the one for me. Not the Kansas room. You're not going to have me sleep in the Mizzou room unless I know it's not Mizzou stuff. I certainly wasn't Smackdown going to sleep in the Dallas Cowboys room, which I wish you would be here for this, because I know that would be the place that you would be taking up refuge for the entire time.
Because I wouldn't have to worry about anybody else taking that room, because nobody else loves and affections the Cowboys like I do. So, no, right. But I feel like you would have done it for me, just to, have a little bit of part of, SmackDown is there with you.
Maybe I'll send you a picture of me on the bed with the
That'd be
Cowboys
fine.
stuff. I wasn't going to sleep in the baseball room because it's Cardinals and Rangers, and I'm not sleeping on a Cardinals bed. Found it interesting the Cardinals and Rangers are together there, because any Rangers fan that sleeps in that bedroom might have some nightmares about the World Series and David Freese specifically.
You think they might have done that on purpose?
Well, they knew it. They also have the Royals bathroom up in the baseball room. They've got a Cardinals bed. They've got a a Rangers bed, and a whole lot of other baseball paraphernalia in that room, including a table made out of 2 home plates, 3 bats, and 3 baseballs. Really cool. And the bathroom is all Royals. So I guess maybe that's what they think about the Royals. So the Razorback Refuge room was where I was going to sleep last night. Come to find out, and I should have known this, that bedroom is right above the main living quarters of the first floor, not the basement floor, but the first floor. They've got 2 kitchens in this amazing house, and so this would be the top kitchen. That's where Tommy and Ty did the show. I heard everything they said for the first 5 minutes of their show. That's what woke me up this morning. I don't usually wake up to hear Ty Richardson's first words on ESPN Arkansas stations for the morning rush. Maybe some of our listeners do, and if you do, that's great. That's not me. So as soon as I realized what was about to happen and I couldn't drown those guys out and I needed to sleep because you don't want me up at 6 in the morning to do this show, I went into the Kansas room, and I fell asleep there for the rest of the night until Ty decided to grab the cowbell over here and shake it on, I guess, what was that, 7:45 in the morning? But I did it. I was able to go back to sleep. So I've already slept in 2 bedrooms, used 3 of the bathrooms. I've used 1 of the kitchens. I've taken stuff out of all 3 of the refrigerators. I'm basically trying here, SmackDown, to, sleep in every bed, use every toilet, watch every television, and look in every single cabinet and drawer. Like, don't you do that when you walk into a house you've never been in before?
Absolutely. It's your moral obligation. Anytime, like if it's an Airbnb, Verbo, hotel, doesn't matter. Like, it's your legal obligation to just check out everything and do everything you can in that hotel. So, no, I expect nothing less of you than to sleep in every bed, number 1 and number 2 in every toilet. No, you have to. I mean, and it's not every day that you get to stay in a luxury place like what you're staying in right now. I mean, heck, they were showing on the Morning Rush. They've got all the cool Wheaties boxes, and now looks like you've got a Barbie doll.
This, my friend, for those who are watching our Votal Law live streams, this is the proof that they have done every detail possible here, because this is not a Barbie doll. This is not a Ken doll. This is a Lou Holtz Arkansas football coach doll.
Wow.
That's what this is. And it kind of really does look like Bobby Knight. You could have done it. This could have been 6 and 1/2 dozen the other. That's what I first thought. But then it's in the Razorback Refuge room. There's no Indiana stuff here. So, yeah, same hairdo, same almost sweater.
Checkered
same pants for sure. Yep. Yeah, but this is the Lou Holtz Arkansas head football coach doll, which was a thing, and it's up there next to on one of the tables in the Razorback Refuge room. That's right next to a large book of Razorback football history, facts, and other things compiled by the one and only Rick Schaefer. So, I mean, they've found all the things you need. You've got the most famous Wheaties boxes up here for everybody to see, including the original Michael Jordan one before he won his first championship, all the Walter Payton ones. This is really a cool place. So,
well, make sure you stay tuned to Hit That Line AR on Twitter and all the social media channels. I know Ty and the guys have been very active in getting everything going there for you guys. And I think I heard this morning he's wanting to do something with you and Ty doing something on jet skis later today, basketball, bago, everything under the sun.
Yeah, and cookouts and food and all that. So it is great. I miss you guys, though. I wish you were here. I really do, because it would. I think we'd have a lot of fun. But I'll only complain for maybe about 4% of the show today.
Well, I mean, the way I look at it, JT messaged in and said, wish we were there. But the way I look at it, Matty, I mean, we ain't got to deal with Ty. Ty's gone for the next 2 days, so I mean that's a vacation in itself for me right there. So I mean, it's me and you, and we can run around in our boxers and sing Kumbaya with each other. We're gonna have a good time here.
What's to say you haven't already done that this morning, right?
Well, do we want to tell them what we did earlier this morning? Or we just want to keep that under wraps.
That'll be our little secret.
Very good. All right, so we're here today and tomorrow. We're going to be watching the national championship game tonight on every single television. This should be the sort of thing where we turn all the TVs all the way up with the sound all the way to 11 and just blow this sucker out. Should be a really great game, too. Like, if anything is – you've been on this crash course for the entire season with Gonzaga and Baylor. They were supposed to play in the regular season. Game got canceled because of COVID, and here it is, the game that sort of everybody anticipated, including me, because this was the one I chose these 2 teams for the championship game in our HitThatLine.com $1 million bracket, which I think I'm going to have the highest score of any of the hosts which obviously means I'm the smartest of any of the hosts, right? Because the only way you can win a basketball pool is all about intelligence and,
of course,
and real planning and smarts. That's always what it's all about.
You planned really hard for that to happen, didn't you?
Yeah. I basically went all chalk SmackDown, and I got lucky.
You got to do what you got to do sometimes.
That's exactly right. 877-377-6963. We'll have Connor O'Gara in 20 minutes. Jason Carroll joining us in the second hour, and Clay Henry's going to show up here too. So we've got a cornucopia of the Mod Squad joining us on halftime today, including you. So get with us on calls and texts. Right back.
When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
Now that's a dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse.
Some serious crappie.
Nice speck.
We got crappie.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite. White perch, slab, sacalé, paper mouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
This song might make you feel cool, but it perfectly describes a fool. I'm gonna take my horse to the old town road and gonna ride till I can't no more, and can't nobody tell me nothing. This path will only lead you to God's wrath, because the Bible says the wicked refuse discipline and treat his words like trash. What good is a nice beat when you're headed down the wrong street? I'm Pastor Heath from Woodland. Think about it.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home.
Everyone loves. So for breakfast, lunch, dinner, or catering, it's Calico County, just off Rogers Avenue, behind Randall Ford.
Locally owned Lumber One can handle all of your building needs. They've built their business on having great relationships with everybody from contractors and builders to the everyday build-it-yourself. Lumber One is a full-line door shop to handle all of your door, window, and trim needs. And along with lumber, roofing and drywall products, attic wall and floor insulation is available. Lumber One also does blueprint takeoff with access to design services with estimates available. So go where the pros go. Lumber One, located on Industrial Park Road in Van Buren.
Hey, grounds guys.
Hey, what?
I've got one guy that mows my yard, another guy that sprays for weed, another group that does my landscaping, and I'm probably forgetting someone that does something else. Wouldn't it be easier to just call one place for all my yard work?
You betcha. When it comes to yard work, just call the grounds guys. Mowing, maintenance, weed control, landscaping. We do it all. Call 479-303-GUYS. That's 303-GUYS. Or visit groundsguys.com in Northwest Arkansas and the Fort Smith area. The Grounds Guys. Leave the yard work to us.
Bills. Kids, school, toilet paper. Who is buying all the canned chickpeas? Delayed shipments, masks, pandemic, elections. You're on mute. Riots, air fryers, test results, streaming services, the playoffs, unfriended. You can turn it all off, you know, at least for a while. The rhythmic sound of your feet on the pavement, the sun peeking through the clouds on a quiet morning. Let us show you how to leave it all behind. True Grit Running Company, 6808 Rogers Avenue, Suite B, behind Chick-fil-A.
This is ESPN 95.3.
Hey, Surrey!
Burkhalter back with an 0-2 on Cullen Smith. Here's the pitch.
It bounces away. Here comes the go-ahead run. Hogs lead 6-5. Wallace scores on the second wild pitch of the inning. Who needs base hits?
There you go, right there. We'll take it any way we can get it, Phil.
The Morning Rush and Halftime will be live at Gameday Lodge in Branson April 5th and 6th. Check out the Gameday Lodge on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Airbnb.
I've got 2 tickets to paradise. Pack your bags, we're leaving there tomorrow.
Now, back to the guys. Here's Phil Elson, Matty T, and SmackDown.
877-377-6963. If you'd like to get to us, we got Connor O'Gara from Saturday Down South in about 20 minutes. And yes, Arkansas baseball. My God, I got no fingernails left from the weekend. None. So this is all you need to know about the series, okay? This will tell you. You can glean what you want from this, and it really just starts with this. Hogs go 2-1 against Auburn, so they win 2 games, lose 1. They trailed for 21 innings and led for 2 for the entire weekend. Does that tell you what you need in baseball?
Tells you exactly what you need to know.
You need the lead at the very end, and that's it. But that also tells you Auburn kept jumping ahead, and it took the Razorbacks until the last moment, almost the very last moment, to be able to cut in front of an Auburn team that is really good except for their bullpen. Honestly, it looked like an atrocious bullpen from Auburn. Had a lot of trouble throwing strikes, and sometimes unable to connect with their catcher. Wild pitches hurt them in numerous situations. And the Arkansas bullpen. Now, look, if you got to come from behind, SmackDown, that means you need to score runs, right? That means you're trailing, so you got to score runs. In order to come from behind, you have to have a good bullpen. And for me, that's what stood out this weekend. It isn't necessarily that the Hogs came from behind, because we've seen them do this before. I mean, this is not new. It is now 7 wins when trailing at the end of 6 innings. So we've seen them do this before. It's just that, A, it happened against an SEC bullpen, a bad one, but an SEC bullpen. And B, the Arkansas bullpen was the reason that guys like Cullen Smith and Robert Moore and Christian Franklin and Casey Opitz had their chances to be heroes late in either the 8th inning or the 9th inning or the 10th inning. So, and this is what we've been talking about with this baseball team since January, is that it looks like it'll be a deep and very talented bullpen, and the depth is there. But really, I mean, this weekend seemed to be, and it wasn't just about Kevin Kopp's SmackDown, but it certainly was a heck of a lot about Kevin Kopp's. I'll tell you that.
Pitched your way out of some trouble there, and gave you some really good, solid stuff there, especially on Fridays. Fridays win 6-5, and then obviously again on Saturday as well. And you mentioned just the bullpen for Auburn was just striking, like you said. It wasn't good.
Yeah.
And we took the family to eat my catfish in Conway this weekend. Wanted them to check it out, but I think at one point one of the Auburn pitchers threw 11 balls in a row. Like nothing was working for him. And if you'd have just been half as better for Auburn in the bullpen, they'd have swept Arkansas.
Well, Arkansas couldn't figure out anything offensively on Thursday, and that was the problem. And it wasn't just that they couldn't figure out anything offensively; it's that Auburn made a ton of plays in the field too. So, and you remember I brought this up on Friday morning. I didn't want to call Thursday's loss fluky, because I felt like Auburn deserved the win because their fielders made the plays.
Yes.
That's why Auburn won. There were 7 line drive outs, a few of them that were really tough plays in the field that Auburn's players made, and Arkansas kicked the ball around in that game. So that was the difference for me, was fielding on Thursday. The differences on Saturday and Sunday was about much better relief pitching for Arkansas. I mean, night and day better. Once the starting pitchers for Auburn got out of the game, everything changed completely. And that's what right now is making this team special, is that, and you didn't worry about it in the Mississippi State series, but the bullpen was incredible in the Mississippi State series. They were really good in the Alabama series.
So
now the bullpen is the best aspect of this team right now.
So is it more of a hitting problem that our hitters can't read the pitchers for Auburn, you think? Or is it just that you're getting like, is it the fact that Auburn knew they were playing the best team in the country and the starting pitchers like knew they had to bring their A game?
Well, Greenhill, the guy who pitched on Thursday, just looks like a strike thrower that lets his fielders do the work, and they did that. He's done the same thing against Kentucky and Ole Miss. That wasn't fluky. Owen on Friday, that worried me a little bit because he's a lefty who didn't throw any harder than 89. He had Arkansas between speeds, and they just didn't hit it solidly against him at all. That did worry me a little bit. And then Gonzalez, who we saw on Saturday, he looked a little bit like Greenhill the other day, and Greenhill's been the closer the past couple of years. He's now their Friday starter. Auburn, before the weekend, moved one of the weekend starters, Mason Barnett, who'd gotten hit really hard by Ole Miss and Kentucky, moved him into the relief role, so into the closing role, not just relief role. So things with that team right now feel very shaky, especially concerning roles in the bullpen, because let's look at it this way. Kevin Kopps pitches all 3 games. And I've got special numbers on Kopps later on. First of all, if you pitch 3 games in a row like that, and he wasn't as effective on Sunday, but he was still effective on Sunday. So Kevin Kopps pitches 3 days in a row, and it didn't really seem to affect him all that much. He was great all weekend. Barnett, the guy who was the starter over the previous few weekends for Auburn and then has moved into the closer's role. Now that's a different thing for him because he pitched the last inning in Auburn's win on Thursday, earned his first save. Tries to come back 2 days later, and he stunk. He could not find the strike zone to save his life, and that wasn't the case for him on Thursday. So that made me feel like the change in roles for him kind of messed them up a little bit, and they're searching for somebody right now in the bullpen to try to lock things down. But they do have good starting pitching. They do have really good fielding, and they got some guys who can hit it. But then Arkansas just seems to have a flair for finding ways to win games. And in order to do that, you have to have a really solid bullpen.
It wasn't and that'll prove to be even bigger for this team moving forward. Especially, I mean, obviously you can't get behind when you get to tougher competition. Like is it fair to say that if you fell behind like that against Mississippi State, if you do it again, if you do it during Ole Miss, Florida, if you are playing, which you're not playing Vanderbilt, but LSU, you can't get behind 5-6 runs and hope for another comeback. You can get down maybe 2 or 3 heading into the bottom of the ninth and take your chances. You can't get down by 4 or 5 in that point of the ballgame against. And it's no disrespect to Auburn; they played really well, but right there, your starters are good, but your bullpen isn't, and that's what lost Auburn this series. Yeah. And you can't do that against tougher competition like LSU, Ole Miss. Seems like that moving forward.
Well, I still feel like Arkansas won this series more than Auburn lost it, because in order to do what the Razorbacks did, you've got to put together some really good at-bats late in pressure-packed situations. You saw that, really all throughout the latter innings on Saturday and Sunday. So it was great. It was great to see this team just continue to do this. And you have to keep this in mind. 7 wins when trailing after 6 innings. Sometimes you'll go 2 full seasons without having 7 wins when trailing going into the 7th. That is way different than normal, even for really good baseball teams who go all the way. They don't win 7 games when they're trailing at the end of 6. Yeah. So there is something about this. I mean, I don't want to see that this weekend because you're going into Ole Miss. You got to play Little Rock first, and that's Little Rock is not a pushover. So we'll worry about Little Rock later on for tomorrow and Wednesday. But this next weekend, which is for first place in the SEC West for the time being, because both Arkansas and Ole Miss are 7-2 in the league. Ole Miss dropped 2 out of 3 to Florida in Gainesville over the weekend. That would be one of those teams. You'd say, well, you better not fall behind, right? You better not fall on the road. They have the starting pitching for Ole Miss is some of the best in the SEC. Better than the guys that we saw this last weekend against Auburn. Does that mean Arkansas won't hit them? Not necessarily. Not necessarily. Sometimes they've been really good at hitting some of the best starting pitching in the SEC and have struggled against guys that you look like Owen the other day and say, well, what do you do? Why can't you hit him? Why can't you hit him? Well, that guy was really good at changing speeds, really good. So 22 wins, 7 of them you've trailed more than you've led in the game. That's just nuts.
Sounds a lot like the basketball team.
A little bit. It
because
does.
I mean, like you said, trailing by 6 or whatever you just said. For all we said about this basketball team being a second half team coming back from double-digit deficits, so hey, take them how do you get them. I'll take the bet with Arkansas, bottom of the 6th. So I'm good with it.
Yeah, and I got numbers on the bullpens that give you an idea of how bad Auburn's bullpen was, how good Arkansas's pen was. Razorback pen faced 54 batters, only 10 of them reached 3 scored. Auburn's bullpen faced 43 batters. 29 of those 43 batters against the Auburn bullpen reached, and Arkansas scored 10 runs out of them. The bullpen was the difference this weekend. Doesn't necessarily mean that's the case this next weekend against the Ole Miss Rebels. But I'll tell you what, that's going to be fun. These are two programs that don't like each other very much, two teams that go about things in totally different ways, and I can't wait for that. But you got Little Rock first, and that's going to be fun, too. We have Connor O'Gara from Saturday Down South joining us next. Stay with us.
What my friends Jason and Sarah Everett have to offer you at the Gameday Lodge. A pool table, the poker table, bago, arcades, private basketball court. There's an outdoor pool and also a heated indoor pool open year-round, just a few steps away from Gameday Lodge. Gameday Lodge is just a 5-minute drive to Moonshine Beach on Table Rock and just a 5-minute walk down to Table Rock Lake. 10 minutes from Silver Dollar City. This lodge has 10 bedrooms, 9 bathrooms, 2 laundry rooms, 2 fully equipped kitchens, and 17 televisions. Plus an outdoor fire pit when it gets chilly outside. Gameday Lodge features some of your favorite teams, including Arkansas, Dallas, and Kansas City. Just search Gameday Lodge on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can make a reservation by just emailing them. Reservations@lakelodges.rent or check them out on Airbnb and Vrbo. Gameday Lodge is your #1 destination for family weekends, golf trips, Arkansas away games, corporate retreats, and so much more. Gameday Lodge in Branson. You'll never want to leave.
Car wrecks involving big rigs can be very complex, so the sooner you get me involved, the better. This is why you need to have my number in your phone, because this could be you. I'm Phil Votaw. You never met a lawyer like me.
I want to tell you what my friends Jason and Sarah Everett have to offer you at the Gameday Lodge. A pool table, the poker table, bago, arcades, private basketball court. There's an outdoor pool and also a heated indoor pool open year-round, just a few steps away from Gameday Lodge. Gameday Lodge is just a 5-minute drive to Moonshine Beach on Table Rock and just a 5-minute walk down to Table Rock Lake. 10 minutes from Silver Dollar City. This lodge has 10 bedrooms, 9 bathrooms, 2 laundry rooms, 2 fully equipped kitchens, and 17 televisions. Plus an outdoor fire pit when it gets chilly outside. Gameday Lodge features some of your favorite teams, including Arkansas, Dallas, and Kansas City. Just search Gameday Lodge on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can make a reservation by just emailing them. Reservations@lakelodges.rent or check them out on Airbnb and Vrbo. Gameday Lodge is your #1 destination for family weekends, golf trips, Arkansas away games, corporate retreats, and so much more. Gameday Lodge in Branson. You'll never want to leave.
Car wrecks involving big rigs.
You're looking for a late model truck? We have it. How about a safe, reliable car for under $10,000? We have it. Plus, we will get you financed, guaranteed. At Randall Ford, all vehicles go through a 115-point safety inspection. All vehicles come with warranty and no payments for 90 days. Plus, we will deliver right to your front door. Stop in today. I would love to meet you and earn your business. Randall Ford, 5500 Rogers Avenue, or online at randallford.com.
This is ESPN 95.3.
All those nights when you've got no lights, the check is in the mail, and your little angel hung the cat cat up by its tail.
Can he get him to chase the one down right here?
And a further shift to the right side on the infield. Here's the pitch. He struck him out swinging, and the Hogs come from behind. A comeback 6-5 win to even the series with the Auburn Tigers.
The Morning Rush, Halftime, Ruskin and Zach, the Hog Talk Podcast. Trusting the process, primetime preps, all available on the Hit That Line Podcast Network. Built by Breeden RV Center. Family owned and operated, a no-pressure, laid-back atmosphere, and always home of the free maintenance for life. Just type Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts.
All right, you guys, podcast time.
Now, back to the guys. Here's Phil Elson, Matty T, and SmackDown.
And our friend Connor O'Gara joining us here from Saturday Down South, managing editor, top columnist. I didn't bring this up to you guys yet, but it makes sense to bring this up with Connor here because he is a Chicago native. And I know we're doing Snack Down with Smackdown in the next segment. Today is National Deep Dish Pizza Day.
Hey!
Connor, National Deep Dish Pizza. Now, what would make deep dish pizza any different from Chicago-style pizza, which is, I guess a lot of us would think it's the same thing?
Yeah, it is too the same. I mean, Chicago style is the true deep dish pizza. I know that there's been a bit of a renaissance with the Detroit style pizza, which Little Caesars has famed, but it's very different in my opinion. If you're bringing up deep dish pizza, it is Chicago-style pizza. Now, there is Chicago-style thin crust as well, which I swear by, but the Chicago-style deep dish pizza is what anyone should think of when that subject comes up. I always get mad on commercials when I would see people confuse just like the basic pan pizza for the deep dish pizza. And where I grew up, that is a very, very different thing. And just because Pizza Hut says it has deep dish pizza doesn't mean that's actually deep dish pizza.
That's right. That's right. How deep is it supposed to be? You want your deep dish 2 inches deep, 3 inches deep? How deep does it need to be?
I'd say at least 2 inches or so, and it's the process. I'm very much a Lou Malnati's stand. That is my number one go-to all-time favorite food. Gino's East as well, Giordano's, which they have down here in Orlando as well. Depends on where you go, but the deep dish pizza experience, it is atypical. But I always say, for people who say, it's too thick, or, they don't like their pizza to be fork and knife, whatever, just think of it as a different meal. It's a different meal than the New York style, thin crust, whatever you want. Both can be very good in their own right, but we just have to approach this like lasagna versus spaghetti. We can like both. We don't necessarily have to decide. They each serve their place in the world.
That's well said. Well said. All right, we got this national championship basketball game tonight, and I saw you written a piece about could there be a Gonzaga for college football? And I didn't read the whole thing because I had to get stuff ready here for the show, and it seems to me like if there were to ever be a Gonzaga that we have in college basketball, you can't call a mid-major because they're not. They are kind of in and of themselves a major. Could BYU theoretically be like a Gonzaga-like school for college football? Because they already do have a national championship. What was that, 84? So is that the one instance this could happen?
Even as a big-time Jim McMahon guy, I can't say that. I can't say that BYU can ever get on that level just because the talent disparity is the biggest separator. If we're talking about someone breaking into that group and going up to a different level, which is what Gonzaga did since 2015, like everybody remembers the Adam Morrison thing, but what has taken Gonzaga to a different level is the fact that they've been to now all these Elite Eights and they've been to 2 national championships in the last 4 years. And that's something that, like, you can get to a playoff and you can be kind of a fun story as a non-Power 5 team, which I realize BYU is an independent, so it kind of is a little bit different. But the issue is that in college football playoff, the talent disparity is just off the charts. And you have teams at the top that are recruiting from a different talent pool. The fact that we have seen only 2 participants in the non-playoff era rank worse than number 6 in the 247 Sports Talent Composite rankings tells you all you need to know about just how significant it is. Like, we can say, stars don't matter all the time, but unless BYU starts cranking out top 10 recruiting classes, which with all due respect to the great city of Provo, Utah, I can't see that happening. We're not going to be having this conversation. It just doesn't happen in college football. You can even expand the playoff field to 8, and I still don't think that would happen. Though obviously you would need a program like that doesn't necessarily have some of those same group of 5 restrictions, wherein the financial separators are massive between the group of 5 and the Power 5 based on TV revenue contracts and all of that stuff. So getting a coach to stay like a Mark Few for 2 decades, that's obviously not an easy thing to do if you're not paying that top dollar. There are just so many things working against that happening that, to be honest, I don't think that we can make a true comparison to what Gonzaga has become.
Connor O'Gara from Saturday Down South joining us here on Halftime. Connor, late last week we were talking about this audio clip that was shared around on social media, and I read your post on Saturday Down South talking about this. Mike Gundy made some airwaves talking about the potential of maybe trying to schedule some scrimmages with nearby college football teams, and he name-dropped Arkansas several times, Missouri, Texas A&M, different teams like that. Would you be on board with that? Because me and Phil kind of disagree just a little bit. That, I mean, obviously the spring games are meaningless in itself, but to give this some sort of to really see where this where with an Arkansas scope, to really see where Arkansas is in year 2 under Sam Pittman, I feel like it would be much better to go play Oklahoma State and just kind of to see where you are. What says you about what Mike Gundy had to say?
I actually liked it, and I don't find myself often agreeing with what Mike Gundy has to say, but it would take a lot of logistics and figuring out to be able to get to that place where there was kind of this common understanding of 2 coaches and 2 programs who understood what was at stake. Because, of course, I saw that tweeted out, the clip, and then I can't remember who said it. It was a national writer said, "I can't wait for someone to get fired over a bad spring game performance," which, given the nature of college football, I wouldn't rule that out. But I like the idea. I came up with a bunch of different rules for what I think would have to go into that so that you wouldn't have these coaches treating this like an all-important game that's going to be some national showcase game. And it would essentially be 4 10-minute quarters, no kickoffs, quarterbacks 2 hand touch, 30 snaps maximum for all players. Fourth quarter, it turns into 7-on-7. And then there's a restricted list of 5 players per team that each opposing coach comes up with. So Sam Pittman would be able to look at the Oklahoma State roster and say, we're not going to have these 5 guys play. Like last year would have been like, hey, we don't, Chuba Hubbard, he's going to sit out the spring game. Coaches aren't necessarily going to be opposed to that. And in a way, it kind of takes some of that overarching theme that you didn't play your best when, as a coach, you could fall back on that and say, well, we didn't have our 5 best players out there. Of course, we're not going to be at our best. And then if you just want to sit walkouts in that scenario, then that kind of creates this weird competitive imbalance where then you're going to see a better team on the other sideline. So I think it could be worked out. It would take a long time. Like this would take years and years to be able to figure out. But if they got to a place where they decided they could do this between Power 5 schools, I'd be for it because you're right. We go 8 months without seeing these guys against different competition, and I think coaches would love that. In the same way that they do it in the NFL to sort of spice up camp in August, I think they would love getting the chance to kind of see an opposing sideline, and what that talent really stacks up to.
Want to transition over to basketball for a second before we get your prediction for tonight's national championship game. What a heck of a game Gonzaga and UCLA put on Saturday night with the game-winning shot by Jalen Suggs. I mean, just absolutely incredible. And Connor, I mean, we don't have to turn this into like what was the greatest moment of all time, but that'll easily go down as one of the greatest NCAA tournament moments of all time. I mean, and for how incredible of a game it was, back and forth. Just an incredible game with an even more incredible ending.
Yeah, I thought it was. I mean, and maybe it's a bit of a heat of the moment thing, but I tweeted immediately like that's the best NCAA tournament game I've ever seen. I mean, and I remember the Chris Jenkins shot very, very well, and I remember being in a Buffalo Wild Wings with my wife, watching the end of that game without a rooting interest and being on the edge of our seat. And I had that same sort of feeling, although the fact that it came in overtime and given what's at stake and given the fact that Gonzaga is trying to become the first undefeated team since Indiana 75-76, I think that you have to factor in all of those things. I mean, UCLA was like the biggest Final Four underdog in 25 years. I mean, everything that went into that game and the way that it was playing out, it felt like we were watching a movie, and including the very end. with the shot. I thought it was incredible. That was as good of a sports experience as you could have asked for. And Jalen Suggs, former Georgia quarterback targets, former Alabama quarterback targets. Man, what might have been had he decided to go that route instead? But I guarantee you, Mark Few and company are sure happy that he decided to do the basketball thing. It was working out, and that was just. I'm grateful that he decided to do the basketball thing because that was incredible on Saturday night.
Well, what's it going to be? Who you got? Baylor, Gonzaga? I think it's the matchup that all the college basketball fans thought we were going to get. We should have already have had this matchup earlier in the season, but now we're getting it now for the Natty. Well, who's it going to be, Connor? Baylor or Gonzaga?
So take this as gospel because I won my tournament pool, my 13 or 14 person tournament pool for the first time since my freshman year of college 13 years ago. So this is pretty much money in the bank. And, oh, by the way, I had 3 of the Final Four teams. I had the Baylor-Gonzaga National Championship. Not as impressive, whatever, but I also had Houston in there. Not to brag or anything. If I wanted to share about my bracket, those were the things that I would make sure that everybody knows. But I'm going to go with my original prediction of Baylor. And I think that overcoming the emotional high of what Gonzaga experienced on Saturday night and having to turn around and still play another game, I think that's really difficult. I think that Baylor and what they do with Davion Mitchell and Jared Butler, a pair of former SEC players, although Butler didn't get that experience because he got out of his letter of intent at Alabama. But I think what those guys do at the guard position is going to give Gonzaga a lot of problems. I think Baylor's just been so unbelievably good, as Arkansas fans know, throughout this entire tournament. And I've watched them really closely because I had them winning the national championship. And I just think that they have turned it up to a different sort of level, and I think they win in a game that's decided by maybe 4 points tonight. Thrilling national championship, but Gonzaga falls short, and by night's end, we're saying, yes, the last undefeated team in college basketball still belongs to those Indiana Hoosiers.
Connor, your Chicago Cubs ought to be embarrassed. They let the Pirates win 1 out of 3. I mean, come on now. Come on now. This is obviously a very bad sign for the Northsiders.
Yeah. My father-in-law is a diehard Pirates fan, too, so we text back and forth during the entire series. But, yeah, I mean, you bounce back with 2 in a row, and, suddenly you forget about that one, and the bats come alive a little bit. So I'm not worried. It's a long season ahead. Cubs are sitting above 500, which is something that I didn't often say at a very early stage of my life, so I'll take it.
I appreciate your father-in-law remaining diehard with the Pirates because I'm born and raised in Pittsburgh, and I've been ready to give them up. I haven't done it yet, but I don't have any hope, I'll tell you that. Appreciate you, Connor. As always, enjoy the game tonight, and we'll be getting back into more heavy into spring football next week.
Sounds good. Appreciate it, guys.
Thanks, Connor.
You got it. Connor O'Gara, Saturday Down South. That's the second other person I've heard about recently that's actually chosen to be a Pirates fan in life. That also includes one of the guys who runs the scoreboard at Baum-Walker Stadium, who is young enough to have made a choice. He's not from Pittsburgh. He could have picked any team he wanted. He picked the Pirates, and he must hate himself.
God bless him.
Hey, if you've always wanted a powered automatic gate at your home or business but didn't know who to call the Fence Man, 479-782-3936. Fence Man does it all. Custom wrought iron installation, automatic gates, controlled access systems, camera and security installations, lots more. Make sure to ask about 18-month, same as cash financing. For your custom fence and gate needs, it's the Fence Man, 479-782-3936. Fence Man ain't afraid of no work.
Are you looking for a great deal on a previously owned vehicle but want to avoid high-pressure sales? If so, you need to visit Edwards Auto Sales in Roland. For over 30 years, Ernie Edwards and his staff have helped folks from Arkansas and Oklahoma River Valley buy a quality vehicle and offer a buy here, pay here program as part of their services. Some restrictions may apply. Come visit Edwards Auto Center newly remodeled facility 3 miles west of the Garrison Bridge, the first car dealer on your right, or log on at edwardsautosalesinc.com.
Riley Farm Dental at the entrance to Riley Farms provides every type of dental care and procedures for you and your family. From general dentistry, braces, implants, and cosmetics, Dr. Bo Sparkman and Dr. Brogan give all of their patients better lives with a better smile, more confidence, and a comfortable experience every time. Riley Farm Dental, 5901 Riley Park Drive, Suite A, at the entrance to Riley Farms. Call 226-3500 for an appointment or visit RileyFarmDental.com.
This time of year is hectic, and we know you have things to do and places to be. Southern Tire Mart can help you get there and save you money on America's most trusted brands like Michelin and BF Goodrich. Take advantage of our $29.95 oil change, which includes a 27-point vehicle inspection. Come see us at Southern Tire Mart just off I-540 at exit 14 in Fort Smith today for quality Michelin and BF Goodrich tires and the best-in-class service. Get where you need to be with Michelin, BF Goodrich, and Southern Tire Mart.
Have you ever been to River City Bistro for a brunch on the weekends? Every Saturday and Sunday, River City is open at 10 a.m. with a special brunch menu. Eggs and omelets any way you like. Premium bacon, sausage and ham, waffles, eggs Benedict, and a great drink menu featuring mimosas, Bloody Marys, and all your brunch favorites. We will see you for brunch every Saturday and Sunday starting at 10 a.m. at River City Bistro, 7320 Rogers Avenue in the Stonewood Village Shopping Center.
Hi, I'm Kelly Smith, owner of Dixie Digital Imaging. Would printing from your phone or tablet make your life easier? Are you emailing files to yourself so that you can print them from your desktop or laptop? The Xerox VersaLink and AltaLink lines of network printers and multifunction printers will natively print using your phone's built-in capabilities. Apple AirPrint and Google Cloud Printing just work. To order yours today, give us a call at 783-6600 or visit dixiedigital.com. Dixie Digital Imaging, bringing document innovations to the River Valley.
Are your real estate investments being properly managed? Are you sending a check or cashing a check each month? If you're tired of your current property managers, then call Trinity Multifamily. Trinity will qualify your tenants and leases, inspect your properties, and take care of maintenance and provide you with web-based access to current financial reports, leases, and pictures of your property. Call Trinity Multifamily at 479-452-1817 or online at trinitymultifamily.com. Trinity Multifamily, your teammate in the real estate game.
Whether it's a game day, a holiday, office function, or your family lunch or dinner, Whole Hog Cafe Fort Smith is ready to serve you their award-winning barbecue and sides. Dine in or call either of the Whole Hog Fort Smith locations, Borough Road or Phoenix Avenue, or go online to wholehogfortsmith.com and check out their buddy packs and party packs. Both Whole Hog locations are currently open 11 till 6, Tuesday through Saturday. Experience award-winning barbecue and sides at Whole Hog Cafe today.
Hello, Jeremy Tissington, General Sales Manager at Randall Ford. When you're in the market for the right used vehicle, look no further than Randall Ford. If you're looking for a late model truck, we have it. How about a safe, reliable car for under $10,000? We have it. Plus, we will get you financed, guaranteed. At Randall Ford, all vehicles go through a 115-point safety inspection, all vehicles come with warranty, and no payments for 90 days. Plus, we will deliver right to your front door. Stop in today. I would love to meet you and earn your business. Randall Ford, 5500 Rogers Avenue, or online at randallford.com.
This is ESPN 95.3.
Hey, Surrey!
Now the set. And the 0-1 pitch. Swung on and ripped into right field. Back is Williams. He makes the catch. Here comes Webb. The throw on the way. This game is tied in the ninth inning.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson, Matty T, and Matt Smackdown Jenkins. Enter the HitThatLine.com $1 Million Bracket Challenge, presented by Buffalo Wild Wings and Farm Credit. Register on HitThatLine.com.
Very interesting piece of information coming across from Kendall Rogers, who we've had on the show before, editor at D1 Baseball, covering college baseball. And this, I think, will affect the Razorbacks and Ball Mucker Stadium in a very positive way. According to Kendall, his sources say that the NCAA will have predetermined regional and super-regional sites for the NCAA baseball tournament. The sites for both rounds will be announced the week of May 10th. Bids must be submitted by April 12th. So that means there's a week left to get the submissions ready, and then a month later, the NCAA announces where all 16 regional sites and the 8 super regionals will be held. So, for those who don't know, the sites of the regionals and super regionals are all based on seedings, 1 through 16. The national seeds now are 1 through 16. And whoever has the top seeds left after that, if you're a national seed 1 through 8, then you'll host a super regional. If one of the 16 seeds gets upset, then you could have somebody else hosting the super regional. But it's never something that comes as an announcement until the selection Sunday for the college baseball tournament. So, what do you think, SmackDown? What do you think this means?
Well, he just responded to another tweet here, and he added one more thing. So why are they doing it? And he says, kind of like what you just alluded to, they need 3 weeks. Sources tell Kendall Rogers that they need 3 weeks to get a site certified from a protocol standpoint, not doable under the existing structure. So I get it from that standpoint, but like you said, I mean, this is a done deal that Baum-Walker Stadium is hosting.
I don't see how Baum-Walker isn't at least a regional host. Look, if they're looking for large crowds, that's the place. And SEC ballparks are the place. To be honest, I don't
just hold them in every SEC. I mean, you got the new Duty Noble Field. I mean, Florida has a new ballpark.
Well, they'll have to. The thing about this is that they'll have to make it regional. I mean, there is the word regional there attached to it, and I would imagine that they probably would look for some kind of area on the west side of the country for the West Coast teams. Maybe in and around the spring training areas. I don't know. Maybe that would work, but that's nothing that I think Arkansas would have to worry about.
Well, it's going to come down to it's probably going to come down to which states are the most open with COVID protocols. Because right now the mask mandate has been lifted here in Arkansas, and theoretically by May, who knows, by April 1, I mean, what now? Baum-Walker's up to 50 half capacity, is that right?
Well, we had a little under 6,600 announced for the last game of the Auburn series. So Duty Noble's already full capacity. I think Ole Miss is the same. Here's one interesting thing too. What would they do with LSU? Because LSU is struggling. LSU is not doing well at all. They just got swept by Vanderbilt. They're 1-8 in the SEC. So
Poor
right now,
LSU.
I mean, I know, and we've got something about LSU later on in 3 Up, 3 Down to have a little fun with it, but. That would be one of the sites you'd say, well, of course they're going to host a regional, a super regional at Alex Box. It's a huge ballpark, and why wouldn't you host it there? Well, LSU may not be in the tournament this year. If for Arkansas, look, I mean, so the Razorbacks have won how many SEC games? 7. You basically, if you finish with a 500 league record, if you have more wins than losses in the SEC, you should be a tournament team. So they're almost halfway there to guaranteeing that they're going to at least make a regional. You keep playing the way they're playing, they'll be a national seed 1 through 8 and would have hosted a super regional anyway. But you would have to wait until the day that the committee makes the announcement to start making your plans. In this case, you'll know a month ahead of time, or 3 weeks at least ahead of time. More like a month ahead of time that they're going to be games in Fayetteville.
Well, the NCAA is going to do whatever they can to get the most butts in the stands where they can get teams can get the revenue. And that's to me, that's what this whole thing boils down to. Yes, there's the COVID protocol aspect. I get that. You want to make sure these teams are quarantined, whatever they decide that they're going to do. But they're going to go to wherever the most openness is with restrictions. Arkansas would be at the top of the list, I would assume. Mississippi's going to be in there. I don't know what the restrictions are with say Louisiana or any West Coast school. If you go Oklahoma, go Midwest, go to Wisconsin or something like that.
Oklahoma State
Who
has
knows?
the new ballpark.
Exactly.
By the way, this is a different thing. Oklahoma State had to cancel games with UCA this week because of COVID in the UCA program.
I also
saw when exactly
yeah.
that happened. If anybody that they would have to test before they would have showed up at Baum-Walker Stadium. That's for sure. So. Hopefully that's nothing that affects the Arkansas program. I don't think it does right now.
I also saw, I'll have to dig back through and look, I believe, it might have been on Saturday Night South that I saw it. Alabama's has canceled an upcoming baseball game with them.
That's because of, I think, issues with Monroe.
Okay.
Louisiana Monroe. So JT says it's a money grab for the NCAA if that's the case. I mean, if it is, so what, honestly?
They need the money.
This is a matter. Well, if it's a matter that they need the money, but it's also a matter that these days it just seems like it's difficult to do snap planning, which is what these tournaments are about. It's snap planning. Like I remember seeing administrators, writing, they've got full reports they've got to put together for these applications for all of these things, and it takes quite a bit of time to put it together. And there's going to be more regulations. laid on top of by the NCAA based upon, well, look at what happened in the NCAA basketball tournament. There wasn't a lot of freedom of movement for those guys and the women's tournament. So I don't know if they'll try to do the same thing in all the regional sites. It's probably a little more difficult to do, and hopefully by then the pandemic is easing downward again. But to me, it just doesn't seem that snap planning is doable any longer.
No, I mean, with everything changing day to day, and like we said, it's been changing pretty positively here recently, so who knows at that point. BE texted us in, can Arkansas possibly get both bids, regional and super regional? I mean, according to what he says, I guess it's logical. But then also, what if they did a scenario where schools host the regionals, and then they go to, like, Globe Life Park, go to like some major league ballparks and do the 3-game series, something along maybe not necessarily major league parks because they're right in the middle of their season.
Have a neutral site of some sort.
A neutral site for super regionals, because theoretically that you could phrase that in that wording as well.
All I know is that I was told, like, when they built Baum Stadium was built and then added on to host super regionals specifically, like. That's the goal of the program, right? To year after year host a super regional. That's why you have a stadium that large. Is it for regular season games? Of course. You want to have as many people as you can into that. But the whole idea of having a baseball program is to host a super regional to get to Omaha. That's the best path to get there, hosting it at home. Now it's right there in front of them. You've got the crown jewel of the sport. These guys already have their application filled out. I'm going to tell you that. They're already ready to go. The super regionals are coming to Fayetteville this year, folks, and I think it's whether the Hogs are playing in them or not. I happen to think they are playing in them this year, but it's still now. It's no longer March, and it's no longer early in the baseball season, so we can't say, "Hey, it's early. We'll see what happens," because it ain't early anymore. It isn't early in halftime either, because we're going into the second hour right after this. Stay with us.
Tom McCraft for the Fence Man. If you've always wanted powered automatic gates at your home or business, but you didn't know who to call, let me tell you about the Fence Man. 479-782-3936. The Fence Man does it all. Custom wrought iron installations, automatic gates, even controlled access systems, and lots more. Ask about 18-month, same as cash financing with approved credit. For your custom fence and gate needs, call the Fence Man. 479-782-3936. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work.
Fitness will always be about keeping a routine. And the best routines in life will always make time for enjoying yourself. Michelob Ultra, superior light beer. Enjoy responsibly. AB Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
New Bud Light Seltzer?
Yep.
A hard seltzer with a hint of fruit flavor?
Yep.
Can I try one?
Yep.
That tastes great.
Told ya.
Bud Light Seltzer, unquestionably good. Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Seltzer, IRC Beers, beer in Texas, St. Louis, Missouri.
Hurry up, dude. The game's about to start.
Nothing beats spending the day watching the game with your buddies.
Dude, I'm literally right here. Let's do this.
Which is why a shelter insurance renter's policy is key to your winning game plan. It protects things your landlord's policy doesn't.
Dude, where's your TV? What? Oh, no way, dude.
Like that flat screen TV that just got stolen.
Call Chris Dooley for a free insurance review. 646-6792.
In the mood for a top shelf night, 906 Cocktail and Cigar Lounge has your number. Sit back, relax, and enjoy select wines, top shelf spirits, and handcrafted cocktails in a rich, comfortable, sanitized setting with state-of-the-art air filtration. Indulge in one of their delicious appetizers, sandwiches, salads, or specialty items for carry-out or dine-in. Open Tuesday through Saturday. Stop by 906 Garrison Avenue in Fort Smith. 906 Garrison in Fort Smith. 906 Cocktail and Cigar Lounge, defining nightlife in downtown Fort Smith.
Frankrow Furniture is having an April Super Stimulus and Tax Refund Sale. Save hundreds of dollars. Sofas, loves, sectionals, and recliners, all made in the USA. Big savings for our finance customers and extremely large savings on cash sales. Family owned, in-store no credit check financing and service after the sale. Frankrow Furniture, 405 4th Street, Barling, Arkansas. Best seats in the house.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
Sunny sky today. Our high this afternoon into the middle 70s. Will stay clear tonight. And overnight low will drop down to near 55. Tuesday, lots of sunshine. Our high in the upper 70s. We'll see some showers and storms rumbling through Tuesday night into Wednesday. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
Don't let mosquitoes ruin your outside fun this year. Call Mosquito Joe to keep your yard mosquito-free. Call 479-202-9960 or visit ArkansasMosquitoJoe.com.
It's fast. It's exciting.
KERX Paris Fort Smith. This is Halftime, coming at you from the Busch Light Studios on ESPN 95.3. Live from the Busch Light Studios.
I love Arkansas. I love everything here. Give me that thing here.
On your favorite Arkansas sports talk station.
Because this is a proud damn state.
Streaming live from
hitthatline.com.
You can actually feel Razorback Stadium shaking underneath our feet right now.
This is Halftime with Phil Elson, Matty T, and Matt Smackdown Jenkins.
My calculations are correct. When this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're going to see some serious...
Arkansas wins. The Hogs are still dancing to the Elite Eight for the first time since 1995.
I have been waiting for this moment for a long time.
Judging by the sound of it, so has everyone else.
Hey, hold on. It's almost halftime.
Second hour of Halftime, and it is great to be with you on a beautiful day. Phil Elson in Branson at the lovely Gameday Lodge. Smackdown and Matty T holding things down back in the fort. 877-377-6963 to get with us. I'll get into this during this next segment. I'm happy. You can probably hear in the tone of my voice I'm happy. How couldn't I be? Got this wonderful place to hang out for the day, and great food will be eaten, and baseball got 5-game week, so I'm all fired up about that. But really woke up on the wrong side of the bed today, and I'll get into that with you right here during 3 Up, 3 Down.
It's like a calling card or a shout out or something.
That sucked.
The best of the best of the best of the best of the best.
What does 3 up and 3 down mean to you, Airman?
End of an inning.
Well, that's not the worst part.
What is the worst part?
It's time for 3 Up, 3 Down.
3 Up, 3 Down today, brought to you by our best friends over at Clean Cooking. And Matty T had a Clean Cooking during the commercial break. He got me hooked on the chicken parm, and it's one of the best choices that they have over there at Clean Cooking.
It's delicious. I actually went this weekend and got Clean Cooking too, because Connie was out of town for the weekend, and it was much easier to get Clean Cooking than trying to piece together all these various ingredients that were in the cupboard and make my own stuff. So.
Now they have 3 new options for you guys over there at Clean Cooking. They've added a loaded baked potato bowl, a turkey taco, which is fantastic, and a keto supreme, which they told us is basically like a Clean Cooking pizza. So 3 new options over there. Replace some of the great menu options over there. Make sure you go over there. Get probably, I would say, the studio favorite, the number 7, the smoked chicken with veggies and pasta with Carolina barbecue sauce. Good Lord Almighty, it is absolutely fantastic.
You may need your Tums after that one, though.
You may need to, but it's worth it because it's super healthy. So if you're not necessarily into meal prep, you don't want to spend the time cooking, getting the ingredients together, like Matty T said, go over to Clean Cooking. Great affordable options for you guys over there. You can order online at cleancooking.com and place your order to go online. Go over there, pick it up in a pre-froze box. They'll take care of it. And you can find locations of Clean Cooking: Fort Smith, Fayetteville, Van Buren, Bentonville, and in Greenwood, plus the brand new Siloam Springs location that opened last month. I'm going to be placing my order here very, very soon with Clean Cooking, Phil.
I could have used Clean Cooking after the Friday night baseball game. You know, I get hungry, I come home, I don't want to cook. Be the perfect thing.
Well, that's the thing is, like, everything over there, like, when you pull, I mean, they're loaded with, like, pulled pork and brisket and chicken and things like that, things that you necessarily don't associate with necessarily being, quote-unquote, healthy, but the way that they cook it and how they cook it, it is incredible.
Saturday,
food.
I had the pulled pork with green beans and some of that barbecue sauce.
It's a great choice. It's a great choice.
One can subsist on martinis and martini olives for only so long. So let's move into 3 Up, 3 Down here. My first up is the new age Babe Ruth. Yesterday, the Angels' Shohei Ohtani. We missed out on him last year because of he had to have his the elbow surgery, had the ligament surgery in his throwing elbow. He did something which has never been done before. And you don't even have to look back at the history books because there's no way that somebody could throw a 101-mile-an-hour fastball in the first inning, and then in the bottom of the first inning, follow it up with a home run that traveled 450 feet and traveled 115 miles an hour off of Ohtani's bat. I don't even know what that would be for kilometers per hour, which they would use in Japan, but it's ridiculous. Shohei Ohtani, there's nobody like him in the game, and he's my first up today.
Sorry, but I didn't have that right here. You go right here.
2 for 13 with a homer so far on this side of the scorecard. First pitch swinging. Oh, and first pitch crushing! Oh, man! Lean into it! 1-0 Angels.
Matty, we said it at the start. I mean, here's a guy that throws a ball 101 on one half of the inning, and the next one is the first pitch, 95 plus, 450 feet.
Man, I mean, that ball was crushed. Wow. That was ridiculous.
That's absolutely amazing. And, oh, by the way, there's a college player that did the same thing this weekend, although he didn't throw 101 miles an hour. We'll see him the last weekend of the regular season. Florida Gators shortstop Jordan Carrion isn't just a shortstop. He's also a relief pitcher. And when he came in to pitch, he continued to hit in a game this weekend against Ole Miss. We should be thanking him. He homered in a game that he pitched to, so that's also pretty rare. Shohei Ohtani and Jordan Carrion are both up. Down to we'll just turn this one into how bad are the Pirates today for my first down, because they're back to being the Pirates after winning the World Series on opening day with a victory over the Cubs. They lost 2 in a row. Possible Rookie of the Year third baseman Ke'Bryan Hayes on the injured list with an inflamed wrist. And it does look like maybe a little bit of the same issue that Christian Franklin's been dealing with on some of those things that if you saw him on Sunday or Saturday, a foul ball that he had to follow through, looked like there's something every once in a while going on in his right wrist. And obviously not enough to keep him from playing or being a hero in Saturday and with the game-winning double, but it is enough to keep Ke'Bryan Hayes out for the next week. And if he's not there, watch the Pirates lose every game this week without their best player there. That's how bad the Pirates are today, SmackDown.
First up for me, fellas, the new Space Jam trailer came out this weekend. It's going to be on HBO Max, I think, sometime in July. It's coming up here soon. The trailer was much better than I thought. I didn't know necessarily what like the whole theme of the movie was going to be, but I was intrigued. I think you will be too. A lot of the pretty good positive reaction for people. I think it's straying away from what the original Space Jam was and kind of going in a different route. But obviously, it's going to.
I'm glad it's not going to be an exact shot-for-shot remake of the Michael Jordan movie.
Right. It's at least from the trailer perspective. It didn't look like that, so I'm very intrigued to see. This looks like a different story is going to be told, so that's a big up for me. First down is suit measurements with tailor shops. So it's like getting measured at tailor stores for suits. So I had to get measured for a wedding this weekend. Got measured, sent the place my measurements, everything all came back good and dandy. I had to get a white dress shirt. How come that they mess up the shirt size when I literally tell them what size to get me?
You gave them the number. They went with
I gave them the numbers, and everything was too small after I got measured.
Well, that doesn't make any sense at all.
So,
does it make you a little uncomfortable when you have your inseam measured?
Yes, a little bit. Very much so.
Do you giggle a little bit?
A little bit.
That's okay.
And it's also weird when people try to measure around my belly, and they literally have to, stretch to get around me.
Oh, gosh.
And they're like, you're a big old boy, son. We can't reach around you. I was like, no. Anyway, moving on.
I love you,
That's my down for me. Thank you.
I love you tons. My second up today is
the
weekend that Kevin Kopps had. He pitched in all 3 games. Get a load of this. Faced 19 batters. He allowed 3 of them to reach, 2 singles, and a walk. He struck out 11 of those 19 batters. He threw 76 pitches, 54 strikes, and generated 20 swings and misses. That's a ton of swings and misses, and he continues to be the only pitcher in college baseball whose best pitch has a nickname, The Thing. Though I will say, be worried a little bit about pitches that have too many nicknames. Just watch Major League 2 if you can stomach the movie, because it really isn't all that good. But Charlie Sheen's character nicknames all of his pitches, and usually they end up getting smacked out of the park. So be worried a little bit about nickname pitches. Second down is that I have the world's smallest violin playing for the LSU baseball program.
Oh, this is fantastic.
This was not from this last weekend sweep at the hands of Vanderbilt, but this was from them dropping 2 out of 3 the weekend before at Tennessee against Tony Vitello's Volunteers. This was Coach Paul Maneri on T-Bob Hebert's morning show complaining about the Tennessee fans and players.
Listen, even though there wasn't a huge crowd at Tennessee, it was an extremely hostile environment.
Yeah.
They were nasty.
You could hear it.
Nasty.
You could hear it over the TV.
I mean, they were into Trey Morgan's head. I mean, they were on him from the moment he walked onto that field. And, I mean, it was a difficult situation with the umpiring. There were a lot of calls that went against, kids, and they were having to deal with that. There was the other team was not handling things with a lot of class, quite frankly. And, it was an environment that those kids had been in for the very first time, and it was very difficult.
Wah, 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 wah. I know. I mean, yes, there is not a violin that has ever been made small enough to play for the LSU baseball program. I like Paul Maneri, but I don't feel bad for them. Sorry.
I don't either. Second up for me goes to had a great Easter weekend with the family. Got to see family and friends that I hadn't seen in a long time. First time I've been to church in over a year since the pandemic. And the best part, got to see my grandma, which I mentioned this thing about the time we came back off of Christmas. Guy came down with COVID. She's much better now, but still in rehab, trying to get some strength back in her legs. But that was the first time I'd seen her since Christmas, so it was good to all see them. So big up for that right there. Second down and my last down for me. I've got one more up, and I'll throw it back over to you. Went to the donut shop this morning here in Fort Smith. I'm not going to say where I went just for the sake of, well, I guess I could, but I'm not going to. Got there at 5 a.m. When they were listed, they were open. Lights were on. Open store was up there. Went up to the line and said, hey, ma'am, I would like two of the kolaches. So they're not going to be ready for another 30, 45 more minutes. Then why are you open? They had nothing ready at 5 o'clock when they were open, so.
Somebody forgot to show up on time to make all the food.
Yeah, so big down for me. Last up for me, and then I'll throw it back over to you. Get my first COVID shot.
Yes.
Right after the show today. Get round one into the SmackDown system this afternoon. And like you said, Thursday or Friday, get your shot, people. Get out there and do it.
So my third up is that I ate the largest pork chop I've ever seen in my life last night. I actually mistook it for a hatchet. It is that large. I thought I could have beaten Ty over the head with it, and I still could because I've got half of it left. The thing was incredible. Top of the Rock is gorgeous, by the way. That's also an up. I've never been there before. I mean, you get the chance to see the sunset ceremony right over the lake with the bagpipes playing, and the food's terrific. The ambiance is nothing like I've ever experienced before, and that was really an amazing meal last night. And, and the pork chop was tasty.
Is that a good date night experience?
I would say so. Yes.
Okay. I've never been there before either. So
if you got the cash, then yeah, I would say go for it. My third down is Ty Richardson waking me up this morning with a freaking cowbell. He did it. There's the thing right there. I'll pay my 25-cent fine for freaking for you. And he thought somebody apparently told him that would be the way to wake me up, that would be the way to do it. Or somebody, for some reason, thought I was in a shower when I was sleeping. I don't know how anybody would put those two things together. But did this information come from you, SmackDown?
No. Well, okay, hang on. I didn't encourage it at first because it was when they talked about this, it was like 6:15, 6:20.
Mm-hmm.
You've never texted me that early before, unless if you're telling me that there's car troubles or something's bothering you. And I was just like, God, I don't know if I don't necessarily need him waking up at 6 o'clock in the morning because then he's going to be awfully cranky for halftime and then just lambasting Todd for the whole show. But then I grew the heart, and I was just like, you know what? He's on vacation, so let's just wake him up. I will say I did come up with the idea of, like, they came back on the show and said, like, yeah, he's in the shower right now. I said, well, get a pot of icy cold water and just go dump it on him.
That could have worked. That could have worked.
I neither encouraged nor discouraged any ideas.
It's perfectly okay because I win anyway. Because what time does the college basketball national championship game start tonight?
8 o'clock.
8 o'clock. That's when Ty Richardson would usually be going to sleep. He might as well not even go to sleep tonight because I tell you what, if he does, he might want to have an adult diaper on. I'm just saying.
Please.
I know how to do some things.
See, that's why I told him. I said, if you're going to prank Phil, you better understand that payback's hell, and it's coming for you, my friend.
That's right. These things work both ways. When one team gets hit by a pitch, the other team gets hit by a pitch.
Yep.
And it's okay to do that these days. It actually does work well. And I was able to go right back to sleep. Put my head back on my lovely Kansas Jayhawk pillow, grab the Kansas State Wildcat pillow here at the Gameday Lodge and gave it a nice hug and pulled it closer to my chest, and I closed my eyes, and I had wonderful thoughts and dreams of hosting halftime 2 hours after Tommy and Ty were done doing their show.
Did you pretend it was Kiki?
Up at the crack. No, I do miss the cat, but that's okay. I can deal without her for 2 days. I'll be back tomorrow at some point. 877-377-6963. Thank you very much. We'll be right back after the break. Clay Henry's showing up soon. We've got Jason Carroll coming on again. It is the Mod Squad of halftime with us today, and that includes you. Brad says it's an 8:20 tip, and Austin wants me to video it. That's right. Ty, he's in here now. Well, go to sleep, my friend. Either that or learn how to sleep with your eyeballs open.
Sox for the win! Oh, yes! Unbelievable!
68 teams started.
When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
Now that's a dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse.
Some serious crappie.
Nice speck.
We got crappie.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite. White perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
This song might make you feel cool, but it perfectly describes a fool. I'm gonna take my horse to the old town road and gonna ride till I can't no more, and can't nobody tell me nothing. This path will only lead you to God's wrath, because the Bible says the wicked refuse discipline and treat his words like trash. What good is a nice beat when you're headed down the wrong street? I'm Pastor Heath from Woodland. Think about it.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
Now that's a dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse.
Some serious crappie.
Nice speck.
We got crappie.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite. White perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
This song might make you feel cool, but it perfectly describes a fool. I'm gonna take my horse to the old town road and gonna ride till I can't no more, and can't nobody tell me nothing. This path will only lead you to God's wrath, because the Bible says the wicked refuse discipline and treat his words like trash. What good is a nice beat when you're headed down the wrong street? I'm Pastor Heath from Woodland. Think about it.
I'm out
Zhang. Again with the ball in his hands. In the paint. Floater. Short. Got it back. Ties it with 3. Gonzaga has time to do something. Suggs for the win. Oh, yes! Oh, yes! Unbelievable! Unbelievable! The perfect season remains on go.
Find us on 99.5 and 1290 in Northwest Arkansas, 95.3 in Fort Smith in the River Valley, 96.3 in Hot Springs in Central Arkansas, 104.3 in Harrison and Mountain Home, and everywhere on hitthatline.com. Now, back to the guys. Here's Phil Elson, Matty T, and SmackDown.
Maybe I'll react the same way to the winning shot that occurs from whatever game is going on in the backyard here at the Gameday Lodge. I think Ty is taking on one of Jason and Sarah's sons. They have 7 sons.
Okay.
And so I think Ty probably should have to choose like the 2 youngest ones because the others would beat him easily.
Well, see, here's the thing. He was whining and moaning, and I'm not going to say the curse word, but you know what I want to say after this. That he left his shoes here. He didn't have his knee brace and all this other.
Excuses are already showing up.
And he didn't want to mess up his pretty little hair and everything. And he's like, I'm not going to play. And then, of course, me and Tommy knew that he was full of you-know-what. And so, see, that just goes to prove it. He's playing with the kids right now, so.
Oh, he's the only ones he can beat. So,
yeah, I mean,
especially since he doesn't have his special shoes and his special knee brace.
And if he tears his ACL at the Gameday Lodge playing with some kids, then it's just meant to be for this boy.
Well, maybe we shouldn't do basketball then, and we should just do something more stationary like cornhole, which he is good at. I'll give Ty that. He could probably beat anybody here at cornhole. They've got 2 separate cornhole courts. It's not courts, but whatever it is you want to call it. And all sorts of other stuff that we can do here. They've got also for those who of the large families, you have to keep in mind that when you're talking about a getaway weekend for the family, it's not just about beds, it's not just about space for people and kitchens and all of those creature comforts that we come to expect these days. Part of the creature comfort is bandwidth, right? The bandwidth in this place is ridiculous. They've got like 3 or 4 different modems, so everybody can connect their devices, video game devices, everything. We could probably do 10 different radio shows here at the same time. All talk. We could create our own little radio row for Super Bowl.
I was going to say maybe we just need to get the Gameday Lodge in touch with the SEC and do SEC media days at the Gameday Lodge.
This would be the perfect place for it.
Yeah,
that's right. Since they're not actually hosting a real in-person media days anymore, this would be the place to do it.
We could do Nick Saban answering questions from the media in the hot tub that they got.
Mm-hmm. Hey, by the way, what was your reaction on Suggs' shot? Everybody had their own reaction. I was so exhausted from the baseball game that afternoon, and so I had settled into my couch, and I didn't move much. But I'll tell you what, I did scream pretty loudly at that finish.
I didn't scream, but I was jacked up. I was pumped because I was pulling hard for UCLA, man. I was just if they're going to be the Cinderella run, let's just keep this thing going. My God, did they not play well in that ball game? And
it was incredible. The pace of that game, considering that UCLA usually is not a high-paced team like that. It was a race to 50. It was a race to 50 in their previous game against Michigan, and this one felt like one of the fastest-paced games of the season.
But it was awesome.
Look, if UCLA would have won that, I'd think, gosh, this is a team that can keep pace with Baylor. I wonder.
I agree.
I still think Baylor's the champion tonight. There's something about the quickness they possess. They're a lot bigger. Look, I know they're not tall. They play physical. This is a physical team. I think they'll be able to handle the bigs of Gonzaga in a way where those guys don't dominate fully. I think it's going to be a great game. And what did I pick? I picked 78-75 Baylor for the championship when we did our hitthatline.com picks. I still look at that as what I think the final score will be today.
I need to get in there and do some digging again for what my score was. But I had Baylor as well. But going back to that shot, the minute that it left Suggs' hand, you knew that thing was going in. It just had the trajectory and the look and bouncing off the glass and everything about it. But an incredible game. And I don't necessarily want to get into the discussion of was that the greatest game ever, because there's so many.
It's not fair. It's not fair just to say this game was better than that and so on and so forth. Let's just take it at face value for what it was. It was an amazingly
incredible,
entertaining, fast-paced basketball game that was played on an extremely high level. Like that's the sort of game you want to see in the Final Four. And it's completely opposite from the other game, which was completely one-sided, in which Baylor showed up and just dragged Houston up and down the court. That was supposed to be what happened in the Gonzaga-UCLA game.
We had lots of chatter this morning on the VotalLaw.com live stream, The Morning Rush, and then again here on that same VotalLaw.com live stream. Mike and Mary Hogger texted in saying Baylor will win tonight because of quality depth. The Zags' first five are likely better, but depth is weaker for Gonzaga. Baylor's 6th, 7th, and 8th men will be the difference, and he is pumped up to see Davian Mitchell and Jalen Suggs go back and forth tonight. But like I said, you got Baylor, I got Baylor in this matchup, so it's going to be a lot of fun this evening. We'll touch more on that before the show wraps up.
Clay Henry has shown up here at the Gameday Lodge. That gets me thinking about fishing, so I got to tell you about Pradco Outdoor Fishing Lures making the Yumdinger in Fort Smith in 3, 4, 5, and 6-inch sizes. These are in the tackle boxes of bass anglers all over the United States and all over the world. And the largemouth bass are spawning right now, ponds and lakes all over the state and all over Oklahoma. So you need the Yumdinger to catch them. You'll find the Yumdinger at Walmart, Bass Pro Shops, Academy, LearnNet.com, and tackle stores all over the place. The Yumdinger. Makes me think of the exactly way. That's the way I sounded after I ate one of those giant cinnamon rolls, which you could beat somebody over the head with when you're done, if you can actually finish half of the thing. All right, Clay Henry's with us. Jason Carroll's showing up as well. Stay with us on halftime.
When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
Now that's a dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse.
Some serious crappie.
Nice speck.
We got coffee.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
This song might make you feel cool, but it perfectly describes a fool. I'm gonna take my horse to the old town road and gonna ride till I can't no more, and can't nobody tell me nothing. This path will only lead you to God's wrath, because the Bible says the wicked refuse discipline and treat his words like trash. What good is a nice beat when you're headed down the wrong street? I'm Pastor Heath from Woodland. Think about it.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
Now that's a dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse.
Some serious crappie.
Nice speck.
We got coffee.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
This song might make you feel cool, but it perfectly describes a fool. I'm gonna take my horse to the old town road and gonna ride till I can't no more, and can't nobody tell me nothing. This path will only lead you to God's wrath, because the Bible says the wicked refuse discipline and treat his words like trash. What good is a nice beat when you're headed down the wrong street? I'm Pastor Heath from Woodland. Think about it.
Shelter agents Ted McAvoy or Jeff Clark about a free insurance review.
This is ESPN 95.3.
Hey, Surrey!
This song is just 6 words long. This song is just 6 words long. This song is just 6 words long.
Gregory's the winning run at second. Moore is at first with a 1-0 pitch now. And it's hit on the ground. It is fair down the third base line. Here comes Gregory around third base. And the Cardiac Kids have done it again. RBI double, game-winning double by Christian Franklin. Series-winning double by Christian Franklin. The Razorbacks win it, and they mob Franklin in foul ground. What a game. What a comeback. What a team.
Need a little bit more halftime in your life? Make sure to download the Eastside Liquor Halftime Podcast. Eastside Liquor in Fort Smith has the best deals in the River Valley on liquor, beer, and wine. Stop by 9390 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith and make sure to check out their Facebook page for weekly specials. The Eastside Liquor Halftime Podcast is part of the Hit That Line Podcast Network and is available wherever you listen to podcasts.
All right, back here on Halftime. And our good friends Clay Henry with us and Jason Carroll on the telephone from Pig Trail Nation. You know Clay, of course, from Hogs Illustrated, editor and publisher. You hear him on the Morning Rush. I don't think we've had you on a Monday before, Clay. It's good to see you in person, too. How you been?
I'm versatile.
You are versatile. You can drive and you can sit all in the same day, right?
Yeah, it's an easy drive up from Norfolk.
That's right. Jason, what you got going on today? Where are you?
I'm at work, man. I took a break from listening to Dave Van Horn and the Swatters Club, and now I get to talk to Clay. I'm just wondering how many words I'm going to get in today.
He's right, though. The Swatters Club started 30 minutes ago, and I'm sure there's a lot of interesting things. This is one of those things that the media is invited to listen to, but not ask questions. And Dave does all the talking. So what's his main message right now?
So when I left, he was going over the players. So he'd gone over the last 19 games and going over the players. It's all kind of boring stuff to you and I. But, you know, I think the thing that, and Clay would attest to this, I think the thing we miss the most is going over there to the hotel and eating lunch and listening to Dave talk. You know, we don't get that anymore.
That's right. So let me ask both of you guys this. Let me ask Clay the question first and then get the answer from you, Jason. You know, you look at the results of the series against Auburn, and it's great. You win 2 out of 3. That's what you're looking for every weekend. When you dig into the results, are you still worried about lack of production against opposing starters? They got no hits the first time through the batting order in every game, and it's still a tough script to keep following. I don't think that other bullpens in the SEC are quite as scattershot as Auburn seemed to be. So I wonder what you come away from this weekend thinking, Clay.
Well, couple of things. Let's look at the 2 losses. They're against Alabama and Auburn, and those are the 2 last place teams. Mm-hmm. That concerns me more than what you just said, because when you get to a certain point in the season, are other teams contending going to sweep those teams? Yeah. Did you just lose 2 games in the standings by not sweeping Alabama? I know you can't sweep every series, but there are people sweeping those 2 teams.
That's right.
But I think what you see is that if they face heat, I'm talking about starting pitching that's just pure filthy heat.
Yeah.
They can handle that, and it's the change in speeds that bother. But you know they faced some guys early in that series down in Arlington, where you know they faced solid pitching all the way, and they came back there too. It just looks like to me this is a really good team, and I don't know how you want to break it down, but really good teams figure out a way.
Well, let me ask Jason here. So, I mean, the lineup still gets a lot of talk. I watched SEC Now the other day after the second comeback, and they were all about the lineup and how difficult it is to pitch to. I still think right now the best aspect of this team is relief pitching, because in order to come from behind, Jason,
And defense.
And defense, which did fail them a little bit on Friday, but certainly not the last 2 days. Jason, would it be fair do you think the bullpen is the best aspect of Arkansas baseball right now, or is there another thing that stands out?
I think parts of the bullpen are the best. Kevin Kopps, I just hope his arm can rebound from 3 straight days of pitching because you're going to need him this weekend in Oxford. I think Wiggins has got to get a little more consistent. I think he's a little wild. I think the thing that concerns me with the lineup is their lack of hitting against lefties. I mean, they do not hit lefties well, and if they run into a team with solid lefties, especially out of the pen, they're not going to come back in games. The lineup has the potential to be good. Has it shown it very often? No. And that's the thing. I get they're facing really good pitching in the SEC, but, they struggle to get hits, like you said, through the first time through the order. And they make some adjustments, but it's not big adjustments. And you got to get Robert Moore going again. Dave Van Horn talked about how Christian Franklin's been a hard luck hitter, which he has. But hopefully some of those hits will drop. They've got to score runs early and put pressure on these starting pitchers to get them out of the game a little bit earlier and get to that bullpen where they can really put the game away. Because, like I said with the basketball team, at some point you're going to, these comebacks they're going to stop. And then what happens if you lose 3 or 4 games in a row where you can't come back? How does that change the trajectory of the season? Because that's the concerning part. Because at some point it's not going to happen for them. And then when it doesn't happen for them a couple of times in a row, then what happens to the psyche of the team going forward?
So, there's one other thing that I don't know if it bothers me or worries me or what. There's still a little bit, Clay, of an unsettlement about the starting rotation. You get a couple of really good performances by Patrick Wicklander, but before that, there was one shaky one that made you worry. You get 2 great performances by Zebulon Vermillion, and now 2 in a row that have not been very good. So, Lockhart continues to – I thought Lyle was really good on Saturday, but still that 1 and 2 – I believe in Wicklander now. He looked really good Thursday. I'm a little nervous about Vermillion, and I wonder if maybe Paulette gets a start this next week.
Yeah, that's where I was going to go. You kind of beat me to it, which is good. But Paulette is the guy they wanted to be, or thought. I don't know, wanted may not be the right word. But all through January and really coming out of the fall, they thought he would be their Friday night guy, and he was early. And then it looked like the first outing in SEC play, he just was a little jittery, nerves. And it's like, okay, this is a different deal. You're playing in, a great setting, a conference game, Alabama, and he just couldn't locate. I think he's located since then and started to settle in. But maybe it's okay to bring him in the second if Vermillion isn't on. I mean, maybe that's okay. But, yeah, I think you're right. I think Paulette is the guy.
I've never seen anybody have a weekend like Kevin Kopps did. I've never seen a pitcher go 3 days in a row. Kevin will tell you himself that he wants – it's not a matter that he wants to, but he feels that if he throws every day, does some pitching every day, he's going to be sharper. Have you seen anybody have a weekend like this before that you can remember?
Well, it's kind of vague in my mind. I'm not looking at, go back in the brochure and dig it out, but – maybe in Dave's first team, Jay Sawatsky would really do that, but usually it would be 2 out of 3, not all 3. But he would be somebody that they, really didn't have a deep bullpen, and they rode him to Omaha. Jason, am I remembering that right?
Yeah, maybe a little bit. I mean, the last guy to have an impact in a series kind of setting would have been, I think, Charlie Boyce coming back against Wichita State and pitching for the second time that weekend. I mean, they really haven't had a guy, I don't think, that did what Kevin Kopps did, pitching 3 straight days, coming out the first.
In an SEC weekend, no.
Well, no, they haven't had anybody really do that in an SEC weekend. Because typically you're not going to throw a guy 3 straight days. I mean, I heard you on the broadcast. It's not something you normally do. They don't even do that in professional baseball. And that's why I hope Kevin's arm can hold up and he can have the same type of and I don't think he'll pitch 3 straight days in Oxford, but you hope that his arm rebounds this weekend. I mean, you just don't know how, somebody can come on and pitch, and have the kind of effort that he did based on adrenaline and trying to help the team. But what does that impact for that guy's arm that next weekend? And
Dave even referenced it, Jason, after the Thursday game to the media Zoom that, guys don't really – the soreness doesn't really set in for a couple of days. So I'm sure today – Kevin's arm is feeling those 76 pitches, and maybe not in a bad way. I think it'll be interesting to see how he responds to coming, because they'll use him this weekend against Ole Miss.
He wants to pitch every day.
I mean, so.
365. Now you can't do that, but
I think so. Last thing I want to touch on
back to the starters real quick. Somebody's got to emerge. I mean, somebody's got to step up and be a consistent guy, or this team's going to have some issues, especially when you get into postseason. I mean, they have one guy that's pitched consistently, and it's not even consistent enough to where he's going 7 innings, and that's Lockhart. Other than that, they've rotated 3 guys through those other 2 spots, and they can't get more than 1 or 2 good starts out of them. They've got to have somebody that you can go out. It's a good thing they're not playing Vanderbilt this year, where they've got 2 guys that you know what you're going to get week in and week out, start after start. But Arkansas's got to get somebody that they can count on to be that number 1 guy consistently, or where they might run into issues in the postseason.
Yeah, I think what you're saying about postseason is spot on, Jason, because if you get to a regional and you don't have your Friday night guy, you can't roll. Now, they're going to play a number 4 seed. But you got to win that game, or you will not survive a regional. There's no one that does consistently. So somebody's got to slide into that number 1 spot, or Vermillion's got to pick it up.
Yeah, and either one of those things could happen, because we've seen Zeb go 8 innings back-to-back games. Nothing felt fluky about them. Nothing felt fluky about him. We know the kind of stuff Paulette has. It's plain to see the moment you watch him pitch. Wicklander, I think, has he's looked good enough the last 2 times to be a Friday night guy, so it'll be interesting to see how that shakes out.
So when I see on Vermillion, he has to have his breaker ready to go in the first inning, because he throws a straight fastball. And if they sit on that, they will rock it.
Well, that's what they've been jumping on these last 2.
So he's got to come out of the pen with his breaker.
Yeah,
and he left everything up the other night. I mean, it was just he had it right in the zone all night long, and that's why he got crushed.
What about the bench production from this team? The pinch hitters are hitting over 500. You get guys that, like Dave says, like Braden Webb, who, I think Braden has a fantastic attitude about baseball. You could just get a chance to talk to him, you'd know it. A guy that starts the day before, quote-unquote relegated to pinch running duty, and Dave says just runs right off, goes out and pinch runs in a huge spot, gets a big base going first to third, and it's just, when these guys aren't starting, they're still ready to play off the bench, and they are ready to hit at a moment's notice.
Yeah, the depth on this team is significant, and Dave said it, and Nate Thompson said it, and we haven't faced, I'm talking about this team, they haven't faced COVID, but they have the depth to absorb some blows, injuries, COVID, and it's fun to watch.
Well, I'm having a heck of a lot of fun watching them, that's for sure. And this next weekend at Ole Miss, we don't want to set it up as the end-all, be-all, but it's a pretty big series.
It's a rivalry, too.
I think it's the biggest rivalry for Arkansas baseball right now. I think it's over. I think it surpassed LSU. What do you think, Jason?
Yeah, it's definitely their biggest rival, I think, over LSU now. Throw it in the dirt guy is always great over there. I think everybody loves that guy. And it's a big series. I mean, Arkansas needs to go win this series. They don't need to sweep it. They just need to go win it. And like Clay mentioned earlier, Arkansas not sweeping one of those 2 series against the Alabama schools at home, you're now going to have to go pick up a sweep somewhere probably on the road that you weren't planning on. But I don't think it's going to be this weekend. I just think you need to go take care of business and win 2 out of 3 and come back with first place.
They sort of did that in Starkville, though. So they've done one. So that you didn't
I know,
think
but
you'd
they got to
get
get another
3.
one, I think.
Yeah.
All right.
Somewhere, yep.
All right, guys, I think we're up against the break, so we'll have to cut it here. We got a caller on hold. JW, can you hold through the break? We'll have you on right when we get into the next segment. Jason, appreciate you, man.
I let him talk a little.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Clay.
You did talk some.
Don't eat all the cookies over there, though.
I'm going to bring you some cookies, Jason, just for you, okay?
Yeah, thank you.
No cowbell to wake you up in the middle of the night, though. I wouldn't do that to you.
Okay.
Ty would do that to me for sure. Clay, we'll Well, we only have a couple of seconds left here, so you're going to have to make sure you don't there's no Texas bedroom here, so nothing for you to set on fire in this beautiful house.
This is a great place.
It really is.
Yep.
All right, we're back here to Gameday Lodge to wrap up the show after the break. Stay with us.
What my friends Jason and Sarah Everett have to offer you at the Gameday Lodge. A pool table, the poker table, bago, arcades, private basketball court. There's an outdoor pool and also a heated indoor pool open year-round, just a few steps away from Gameday Lodge. Gameday Lodge is just a 5-minute drive to Moonshine Beach on Table Rock and just a 5-minute walk down to Table Rock Lake. 10 minutes from Silver Dollar City. This lodge has 10 bedrooms, 9 bathrooms, 2 laundry rooms, 2 fully equipped kitchens, and 17 televisions, plus an outdoor fire pit when it gets chilly outside. Gameday Lodge features some of your favorite teams, including Arkansas, Dallas, and Kansas City. Just search Gameday Lodge on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can make a reservation by just emailing them, reservations@lakelodges.rent, or check them out on Airbnb and Vrbo. Gameday Lodge is your #1 destination for family weekends, golf trips, Arkansas away games, corporate retreats, and so much more. Gameday Lodge in Branson. You'll never want to leave.
Car wrecks involving big rigs can be very complex, so the sooner you get me involved, the better. This is why you need to have my number in your phone, because this could be you. I'm Phil Votaw. You never met a lawyer like me.
I want to tell you what my friends Jason and Sarah Everett have to offer you at the Gameday Lodge. A pool table, the poker table, bago, arcades, private basketball court. There's an outdoor pool and also a heated indoor pool open year-round, just a few steps away from Gameday Lodge. Gameday Lodge is just a 5-minute drive to Moonshine Beach on Table Rock and just a 5-minute walk down to Table Rock Lake. 10 minutes from Silver Dollar City. This lodge has 10 bedrooms, 9 bathrooms, 2 laundry rooms, 2 fully equipped kitchens, and 17 televisions, plus an outdoor fire pit when it gets chilly outside. Gameday Lodge features some of your favorite teams, including Arkansas, Dallas, and Kansas City. Just search Gameday Lodge on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can make a reservation by just emailing them, reservations@lakelodges.rent, or check them out on Airbnb and Vrbo. Gameday Lodge is your #1 destination for family weekends, golf trips, Arkansas away games, corporate retreats, and so much more. Gameday Lodge in Branson. You'll never want to leave.
Car wrecks involving big rigs can be very complex, so the sooner you get me involved, the better. This is why you need to have my number in your phone, because this could be you. I'm Phil Votaw. You never met a lawyer like me.
I want to tell you what my friends Jason and Sarah Everett have to offer you at the Gameday Lodge. A pool table, the poker table, bago, arcades, private basketball court. There's an outdoor pool and also a heated indoor pool open year-round, just a few steps away from Gameday Lodge. Gameday Lodge is just a 5-minute drive to Moonshine Beach on Table Rock and just a 5-minute walk down to Table Rock Lake. 10 minutes.
Nathaniel Gorska. Gorsucka. I think that's what it is. That's a tough name.
That is tough. That's
I'm going to go with Gorska. Next time you say it first.
I didn't even attempt it.
2-0. Gregory takes strike one on the outside.
How do you get Gorska out of that?
Well, I mean, they got a pronunciation guide at the bottom of the roster.
Oh, they do? I don't see it. Oh, there it is.
Gorsuka, that's it.
There. That's why you make the big bucks, Phil, right there.
Because I can pronounce a Z, a CZYA. Throw to first, battle safe, although it took like 3 tries.
You kind of stumbled through that. I'm not going to lie to you.
Carpenter, right? That's how you say it?
That's how they said it in Korea. Carpenter.
Now, back to the guys. Here's Phil Elson, Matty T, and SmackDown.
Halftime today brought to you by our friends over at Joe's Grill and Cantina, 3400 South 74th Street in Fort Smith across from Harps, and they are still doing half-price apps and taps. Anytime the Hogs are playing, it's half-price apps and taps, so make sure you make your plans to get over there tomorrow night and Wednesday night for Razorback baseball as they take on UALR. Get over there tonight, though. Mexicali with 2 sides is $10 tonight. $5 ultimate margaritas at Joe's Grill and Cantina, and I can highly attest to the pure awesomeness and the pure intensity of a Joe's Grill and Cantina margarita because of past experiences with tacos and Thai. So that's at Joe's Grill and Cantina, and I highly recommend you make your way over there to Joe's Grill and Cantina, 3400 South 74th Street in Fort Smith across from Harps. Give them a call and place your order to go at 479-478-9600. That's Joe's Grill and Cantina.
Well, look what they did. They brought us deep dish pizza on Deep Dish Pizza Day, and nobody really knew that was a thing today. Yeah, it's in the air, I guess. What else is in the air? We got a caller on hold. JW in London on hold. Hey, what's going on, JW? You're on halftime.
Hey, good evening, gentlemen. This is my favorite Woo Pig Suey time of the year. You got good Van Horn baseball. You got spring football. You got March Madness. It can't get much better if you like that stuff.
Hey, this is my favorite crossover season, that's for sure.
I still have issues with the young gun from Friday that's been lingering all weekend. Can we not bring that boy back to reality at all? Is that possible?
Which one are you talking about?
I'm talking about Ty, who thinks he can stand up and strike out a Razorback batter. I was going
to look in my scorebook for a player that he was talking about here, and it's Ty Richardson. That's right.
Okay.
He does need to be put in his place.
I have a grandson who is a big 8th grader, plays ball at Clarksville, Scranton, and he's a natural hitter. He's playing first base now because he's big. He'll move to catcher eventually. I will guarantee you that Ty could stand on the mound, and it's shorter, so I'd give him an advantage, and he would put one over, and my grandson, will knock it out of the park and then just laugh at him as he walks around.
No, but see, here's where the JW, here's where the issue lies.
And I challenge him to accept that anytime he wants to show up.
JW, this is
he ain't going to survive it.
This is where this issue lies.
Thanks for calling
in order
JW.
for your grandson to hit a home run off of Ty Richardson, which I'm not telling you he can't. He probably would. Ty would he first has to throw the ball over the plate from the pitcher's mound, which Clay, I don't think he could do that. I don't think he would accomplish the strike from 60 feet 6 inches away to generate the swing for the ball to go over the fence.
Well, the problem may be that it falls because of gravity short, and the guy swings at it because it's the eephus pitch, right?
Yes, that would be Ty's best pitch.
That's his fastball.
That would be his fastball, the eephus, the thing that goes up and down, and is almost impossible to hit. See, that's why he realized maybe he could strike Casey Opitz out, because Casey has never seen a pitch as slow as Ty would throw, but it still has to get over the plate. Like you could play one-on-one against somebody and just stand there, and someone could drive past you and you still lost one-on-one in basketball. You can play one-on-one football, which I don't think works very well. But if you run past somebody, you just beat them in one-on-one football. One-on-one baseball, the pitcher's got to throw the strike in order for action to actually happen. That's the problem for Ty. He doesn't know how to throw a baseball properly. That's the thing.
Can we make this happen? I mean, you two are in the same spot, and there's enough room at the Gameday Lodge for like Clay to be the catcher. Clay, you played baseball when you were a kid, didn't you, Clay?
I was a catcher.
You're a catcher. Yeah. You could do you could catch, put Ty on the mound, and just see if he can strike out Phil.
Well, there is an old-style football helmet up on the up on one of the cabinets back here. You could use that as a helmet of some sort. I'm sure there's going to be a bat around here somewhere. I've got a baseball in the car.
Well, based off the excitement of JW, he'll hand deliver everything up there to you just to make sure this thing happens.
It sounds pretty boring to me.
It sounds something that's scripted because you know what the outcome is.
Yeah,
which is Ty not throwing the ball.
All
over
these
the plate
things
anyway.
about Ty playing sports. Why can't he just figure out how to do good radio?
Whoa.
Bingo.
Whoa.
That would work.
Whoa.
Would work. Good radio first and foremost when you're a radio host. Forget about your athletic achievements.
If he can get his phonics right and do good radio, that's all he needs to do.
Ask good questions, have good takes, right?
I mean, why is he moving on to something else?
Because he realized he wasn't doing well at the first thing. He's trying to figure out the second thing. That must be what it is.
Yeah, I'm real comfortable just being a sports writer. I don't need to be doing all this other stuff. I mean, I'm just going to concentrate on doing that well. He should do the same.
That's called knowing your lane, Clay. You know your lane.
Whatever his chosen profession. I'm not saying he chose the right one, but that's his chosen profession. Let him just focus on that.
That's very good advice, SmackDown and Matty T. All of us need to know that, probably myself included. You need to know your lane and you need to know how to stay.
Know when to
in
be
that lane.
animated. Know when not to be animated.
Give me a hell yeah.
Exactly right.
Oh.
Now, see the other thing too. And maybe Clay, you can help me out with this. Ty woke me up this morning with that cowbell. He thought he was being cute. He's the one who's got to wake up early in the morning. He's going to be asleep before I am tonight. I told him he's going to need to sleep with his eyes open. I think I could get your help for one little thing, maybe at about midnight.
Yes.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
Please, for the love of all things inhuman, video this. We've got to see this thing happen.
We'll do everything we possibly can. I don't know exactly what we're going to do, but it'll be something, and it'll be cruel and unusual and fun. And we'll talk about it tomorrow at halftime. Does that sound right?
Why'd you get so deep and dark all of a sudden?
Because I got very devious all of a sudden.
My God.
Now my evil laugh will be coming out at any moment when I do something to Ty Richardson. All right, it's been fun. Gameday Lodge tomorrow. National Championship tonight. We'll be talking about that. For
Sick
Clay,
of Bears.
For SmackDown, for Matty T, for Jason and everybody else, this is Phil. Get up, get out, and get better.